Michael Malone, you're hired. What? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Of course, big news across the NBA yesterday is Michael Malone and the GM of the Denver Nuggets got fired with just a few games left in the season. So the question is, should Michael Malone be the next San Antonio Spurs head coach? I'll answer that in just a few moments. So let's get into the article from Air Alamo first, outlining what the heck is going on with the Denver Nuggets and Michael Malone. There has been a reckoning in the Mile High City, and head coach Michael Malone was a casualty, losing his job with 1 week to go in the NBA season. Not even. The Nuggets have a 47-32 record as the fourth seed in the Western Conference, but despite that, the franchise is going in another direction. The decision is no less shocking than Taylor Jenkins' dismissal from the Memphis Grizzlies less than 2 weeks ago. That's right. Twice near the end of the season, two playoff-bound teams fired their head coach. And I heard last night, this is the latest a coach has been fired in a season. I don't remember if it was a playoff team or just in general, in like 45 years. What's happening right now in the NBA is kind of unprecedented, at least in the modern era. So to see two coaches go down, wow, things must have been really bad. Let's continue on with the article. Seeing him fired while sitting in the top four of the Western Conference after a season of injuries and inconsistent play from Jamal Murray is shocking to NBA fans everywhere. However, it again gives the Spurs another option. If Coach Popovich decides not to return, and San Antonio fans have already begun calling for... Coach Popovich decided not to return, San Antonio fans are already calling for this. Okay, so Spurs fans are already saying, let's bring in Mike Malone. I saw that last night during the live stream versus the Clippers. Damn it. Even without Kawhi, they got us. But yes, a lot of Spurs fans are calling for this. Sorry, that sentence really tripped me up. It's shocking to see a proven coach like Malone fired. I would agree. Firing the head coach a week before the end of the season, if you're a lottery team, is a dramatic thing to do. Absolutely. Firing the head coach and the general manager a week before the season ends as a top contender in your conference screams panic. Something had to be going really wrong. And there's an interview here from Mike Malone. I'm not going to play it, but I'll put a link in the comments because you want to be careful with copyrights. But they kind of sum up what happened in this interview. During this sit-down, Coach Malone discussed the team's lack of effort on defense and on the boards. Lack of effort on defense and on rebounds. Why does that sound familiar? Anyway, he basically admitted to losing the locker. Whoa. Okay, now, Houston, we have a problem. Or San Antonio, we have a problem. He basically admitted to losing the locker room, which is the worst thing, or pretty much the worst thing that can happen to you as a coach of any team. Basketball, football, whatever. You lose the locker room, you're done. That's it. You're done. That's nail in the coffin, as we saw yesterday. According to his words, they don't watch film, they don't play defense, they don't rebound, and a portion of his players won't even acknowledge his coaching when he addresses them. That's something to be concerned about if you're a Spurs fan. Yes, 100 million % reading that. That's like, wait a minute. That is the worst possible coaching situation to be in. So I guess it's no shock he got fired if that's what was happening in Denver. Sure, this late in the season's a shock, but my goodness, losing the locker room and then just reading that, if that's all 100% accurate, that's really bad, Spurs fans. But we can't take away his accomplishments either. Nikola Jokic has emerged as one of the, if not the best player in the NBA history. And I read that a little fast. Nikola Jokic has emerged as one of the best players in NBA history, and that was done under Malone's watch. He led Denver to their first championship in franchise history, and he hasn't had the most competent front office to work with. This is true. Malone's relationship with Coach Popovich is well documented, so he would likely get a ring. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired, by the way, guys. That game last night did get over to almost 1 a.m., so the struggle's real for TSR. My apologies. Malone's relationship with Coach Popovich is well documented, so he would likely get a ringing endorsement from the greatest coach of all time if Pop decides to hang it up. That would make the transition a simpler one. Nothing about Coach Pop's future is set in stone, but Michael Malone's dismissal gives the franchise plenty to consider either way. All right, let me circle back to the question I started off with the beginning, Spurs fans. Should the Spurs bring in Michael Malone? I have no idea. I have no idea because we don't know if Pop is coming back next season. And that is kind of keeping everything stuck. We're frozen. You can't really look at next coaches because it would be disrespectful to Pop to start looking, for this organization like, well, let's start interviewing this guy. Can't do that. However, Pop's holding us up by being able to do that, by not making a decision. And I think he does need to make that decision soon. I know there's going to be a lot of Spurs fans. TSR, he has the right to wait as long as possible. Well, you can't wait till the day before the season starts and then say, I'm out, because that would be very detrimental to the franchise. And I don't think he's going to do that. Pop has been a coach for the Spurs for about 3 decades, head coach, with the team even longer, so clearly he loves the organization. He's going to do right by them. And who knows? We don't know what's happening in the background. The decision might already be made about him coming back or not, and they're just not telling us yet. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case. If Michael Malone comes in, sure, I wouldn't be opposed to him being our coach, Spurs fans. But you know what? I would have my concerns, especially the way things ended in Denver. But if I'm being honest, I'm pretty much going to have concerns with any new coach. You're replacing Greg Popovich, the greatest Spurs coach in NBA history. The bar has been set high with 18 seasons in a row of 50-plus wins, 22 seasons in a row of making the playoffs, the 5 championships, the 6 finals appearances. Multiple Hall of Famers played under Greg Popovich, which you got to give him some kind of credit for that, right? Yeah, whoever comes in is going to have lofty shoes to fill, very big shoes to fill. So we're all going to be kind of like, until that coach starts getting us in the playoffs on a regular basis and winning some championships, just come on, man. It's just, yeah. So that being said, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on this. We have 3 games left, Spurs fans. Only 3. We play the Warriors tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Another late game for old TSR. And actually we have a Friday game at 10 o'clock as well. So, wow, the NBA really hates people on the East Coast. I'm just kidding. I know it's rough. It could be very rough depending on where you are in the world and time zone-wise. But 3 games left, and I'm very proud to announce, because there's no way I'm missing any one of these games, barring not having power. Heck, I'll drive to Miss TSR and call the darn game if I have to, though. We'll have called all 82 games for the first time in the channel's history. And I'm very proud of that. Plus the Summer League and the preseason. I believe when it's all said and done, we'll have called 95 or 96 games this year. And I want to thank you guys for helping me get through this season, because I want to be able to do it without you. You guys sound very positive, but you guys are very positive back. Sure, we have that troll here and there, but for the most part, it's 99.9% positivity. And I know some people asked last night, was this season a failure? It could be looked at that because we didn't make the playoffs, but we have so much to build on and be excited about next year. Year 3, Wemby, having an off season with De'Aaron Fox to work together, and you're not just dropping a point guard in the middle of the season and saying, okay, just a left-handed point guard at that. Year 2, Stephon Castle. Our 2 first-round picks. Who knows? We might have a top 4 pick. We might have the number 1 overall pick. There's good things happening with the franchise. We'll be a playoff team next year. We got to just get to these last 2 games. And, of course, don't forget, root for the Atlanta Hawks to lose. They got a soft schedule, but root for them to lose. If not now, then we wait to play in, which, of course, will be hate watching. We'll be getting together for the Hawks games and hate watching those. Sorry, Atlanta fans, if there's any watching. But overall, I think the season's been a success. 32 wins might not sound like a lot, but it's a hell of a lot more than 22. So that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. Thank you. I'll see you tonight for the Warriors and the Spurs. And as always, go Spurs, go.